So I think the first place that we can start is literally me and Daniel met in preschool. We met when we were 3 years old and we went from preschool all the way to senior year of high school together. So we naturally stayed friends over that entire length of time. And after college, we both ended up going into tech sales. So we both ended up very similar background, very similar people, very extroverted, fun-loving. We really have always gone to concerts together, music festivals, that type of thing. So Daniel actually moved to San Francisco back last August, and he was just randomly looking at commercial spaces, and he found a different spot, but with his roommate, they started kind of game planning a very early stage idea. Very different than what we ended up with now today. And we ended up touring this place after going and trying to find competitive places to lower the rent there. We found this spot. We met our landlord, Steve Kovach, who is an absolute angel. He's a serious partner for us and one of the only reasons why we've been able to do this. So during that time of very early of looking at different spaces, my best friend from college, Bryce, also was just randomly out here. He joined the team as we were touring this place because he's I want to be a part of this. This is sweet, because we immediately fell in love with the space and started thinking about how we could use this much space, because this is a much larger space than the one we were originally looking at.
We're going to have to link to some photos or some way where people listening or watching the video can get a sense of the place. But I wonder, maybe describe the space and then just what the Faight is, because maybe those are related. But how would you describe it?
So the Faight is a music and art collective. So we have 3 individual spaces that we are creating. So we have an artist-driven retail space. So that right now is 31 individual artists that are curating our space. It's all unique, handmade, vintage, or crafted goods. So everything from vintage clothing to handmade clothing, prints, ceramics, knitted goods, crochet items like the one in the background. So we have amazing artists. We're incredibly lucky to have the quality of artists that we have in our space so early on. And a lot of that started because of an early event that we did with an art collective called Family Style. So they're an all Asian American Pacific Islander art collective. They were the first group to ever book our space, and they brought in some amazing community of artists that kind of put us on the map a little bit for being an artist hub. Then we have our event space right now. So we just got our entertainment license. So 7 days a week we can go until 11 p.m. And we really want to be a space that's accessible for new artists. So if it's your first album release, your first tour, we're really going to try and work with you to find a way so that you can actually make money doing this first thing. And we really want to create a community of people that want to come out to support the events that we host, even if they don't know the artist, don't know what we're doing. They just have a sense that what we're putting on is going to be high quality, it's going to be fun, and it's going to bring them joy.
Yeah. Well, it's so fun, and having the chance to attend some of the events that there's great vibes here.
Yeah.
I wonder, how did you think about getting started? Because I imagine that you could start so many different places.
Yeah.
You mentioned this organization was a key early collaborator.
Yeah.
How did you get in touch with them?
So just luck that the 2 women running that art collective are good friends of mine. And at the time we were just we just signed the lease and we were trying to scramble to renovate the space. And they were we need a space for an art gallery this month, these dates. And we're we will make this happen. And I mean, we worked up to the day that the event, their first event happened, renovating, cleaning, doing an insane amount of work. We are very fortunate with the friends that we have who just we have friends who've shown up and worked for 8 to 12 hours a day with us, completely out of the kindness of their heart, just to help us get ready for some of these keystone events that we've had during our very early stages. It's been really cool to see friends and community step up and just want to help out and volunteer.
It's a lot of work to pull something like this off. I guess, how did you think about what the space needed to support the sort of events that you wanted to host here?
So from an events perspective, we're really fortunate in that Bryce and Jesse and Forster, who are also a part of the team, and also owners, they have all had quite a bit of experience running events. Jesse has a long career in music and booking. Forrester and Bryce both put on a like 300-person music festival in Salt Lake City. They all have been like working up to like running events. So from an events and music perspective, we had a really good sense starting out because our original idea was to like basically be a music venue. Over time, very quickly, we realized that like there's a lot of music venues, but there's not a lot of spaces for like new up and coming artists, like to have that spot. Like we want to be a launch pad. Like our mission as a business is to be a platform for artists to grow. So that was like one of the very few things that's not changed is like from the very beginning, which is our mission to like be a platform. We want to do that in like all different ways. So we started with that mission and like knew we wanted to do events. We ended up with having a fully built like soundproofed recording studio in our back and a retail space. So we're building both of those spaces out with that mission in mind. So like creating a recording studio where people can like record their first album, like come in and use a studio and have like a high quality sound producer like to help them along like that journey. And then like with the retail space, like hitting that mission of like being a place where like hopefully artists are like making considerable money off of being a part of this collective.
Why focus on being a launch pad or help artists grow? Because there's a lot of things you can do with events, but why that's part of it?
So the way we think about it is that, you know, most other places are very focused on like the people attending the events. Like that's their entire focus is how do we like maximize that experience. We are trying to think about it a slightly different way, which is how do we maximize the artist's experience and how like bringing them around and focusing on the communities that follow them. So we're trying to go from like an artist-driven perspective and drive community through them rather than driving community through like individual people outside of like, you know, people attending the events.
It's a very different approach.
Yeah.
You know, was it some of the experience that you and your team have had in past lives that led to that approach, or why focus there?
So probably not my past experience because like out of everyone, I'm probably the least like creatively driven. Like everyone else is either like a contractor, a musician, like some sort of thing like that. Like I'd say my talent is on like the management side. But I think the reason why we've all done that is because those guys have all experienced like how hard it is to make it as an artist. And like talking to more people in San Francisco, we've felt the disconnect or like we felt that there's now an opportunity, like thanks to so much like exodus from like tech and like there's like this opportunity for community and like revitalization of like good San Francisco culture to take place again. And like we really want to be a part of that like revitalization and like trying to like push like a artist music like community driven like enjoyment and like of events like that direction.
It makes me so excited to hear that because obviously San Francisco is naturally beautiful and there's a lot of sort of like historical culture here, and it's really exciting to see a fresh wave of culture being created and thinking about the space for that. Talk to me a little bit about why you decided to have different elements to the space and more just a straight event space. Why create a few different forms for creativity?
So originally, like our plan was just to have an event space. Like we never were thinking about like opening a recording studio or having a retail store. Like none of us have ever run retail. Like running a recording studio is like still like a mind-blowing concept to us, but like we're actively working on building out like the plan for it right now. So these things came about because of the space that we found. We found a landlord that was willing to take a big risk on us. Like we're 5 young guys, like wanting to start a event space in San Francisco, like at like probably still a risky time, like where things are coming back, but it's not like guaranteed. So I think having a landlord who is willing to take a risk, like being in like a really good community, like very early on, like just from meeting our neighbors, other businesses, like Lower Haight is, I would say like a very community driven like community. Like people still like really get to know one another, like really talk to each other, and it's really cool to see like this, like be a part of this community.
Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on in San Francisco right now. You
Yeah.
and I both spent some time in our careers working at technology
Yeah.
companies, and now we're both doing something
Yeah.
slightly different. I'm curious on a personal level, but then also maybe on a broader cultural level. You talked about a need for community, but personally, kind of what were you sensing missing from the culture that you wanted to be a part of helping to create?
So, absolutely no shade to tech. Like, I think tech is great in a lot of ways. I think naturally, like, it's a business. Like, there's certain things that you have to do to like be a successful business, and it's very hard to start a business. Like, I have tech to thank because of the experience I have, and like it's given me the tools to like start this business. Like, if I didn't have that experience, like I wouldn't have the management skills or the sales skills needed to like run this place and like be able to like move it forward. So like if I didn't have that experience, like I don't think I would be successful today. That being said, like for me personally, like I didn't find enjoyment in my day-to-day work. I found enjoyment in like the lifestyle it provided me, and like that's really great. But at the end of the day, like I was slowly starting to like become tired of like showing up day to day. Like it just drained me, and I work a lot harder. I make a lot less money, and I've never been happier now. So like I think that community aspect like is really to thank for, is because like trying to start something new and fresh and like bringing people around. Like I've made more friends in the last like 8 months than like I think I can ever say I've done in like previous times. Like it's pretty crazy like how much like people want to come around and like be a part of like this, and I'm really hoping to like continue to create space for like more and more people to be coming in and joining.
I feel like you and the team have done so much in such a short time. Any initial observations or learnings that you've had in all the collaborations you've done, all the events that you've hosted already? What stands out to you? Some top takeaways so far?
There are phenomenally talented people in this city that don't have that just aren't given enough shots. Like that's like primary number one. Like two, like there's so much going on in San Francisco. Like if you know where to look, like you can find like the coolest events, coolest communities, like coolest art. Like you can find exactly what you're looking for, but like I think right now it's hard to find because there's a lot of new things starting up right now. Like I feel like it's like every week that I'm talking to like a new group that's like, we're a DJ collective, we're a artist collective, we host these events, and like we're trying to create this type of dinner atmosphere, like these types of things. Like it's like now that we're diving into this, I really feel like there's so much starting right now, and it's really, I think the most exciting thing is to see like what's going to happen if like all of this stuff continues to like progress, and like the people that like I'm working with right now, like quit your day job, like there's so many cool things happening right now. And I think over the next like year or 2 years, like San Francisco as like a like arts and entertainment space is going to just like really continue to take off.
So exciting.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to kind of see that broadly, but also what you and the team are doing specifically. Where can people go to learn more about you and about what's going on here?
So Instagram is probably still the best spot, like the Faight SF, and it's spelled like Haight Street, but with an F. That's probably the best spot. We update that like every single day with like new events, like our stories. Like we are really trying to increase the amount of like content we're putting out for, event recaps, like talking about our artists in the art collective. So I think that's probably the best spot. And then our website, thefaight.com, like sign up for our newsletter. Like we do not spam. We send out probably like at most one a week. And right now we're probably like one every 2 weeks. So we just send out our events. We do send out like, newsletter only events as well. So we're trying to create some, community around the events that like people have been showing up to regularly. So I'd say those are the two best spots, but also just like come in. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 2 to 8 Wednesday through Friday, and then like 10 to 8 on Saturday and Sundays. So come to the store, like come check it out, like for like holiday shopping. If you want to shop small businesses, like small local retailers, like come in. We have 31 individual like vendors right now, and they're insanely high quality. Like vintage clothing wise, like I cannot find a better spot than our own store. And then this is Odin. If you come into the store, you can come in and pet him. He's a certified good boy, and he will come and say hi to you. He's our greeter.